And welcome back to another episode of Wonder Wednesdays. I'm your guy, Speezy Wonder, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the content. And yeah, today we got a special guest with us today, Dareon Audio. Dareon Audio, this guy is super talented. He does audio role plays, or you might know them as audio dramas or audio stories. And he's been doing this on YouTube for what I imagine is quite some time right now. And we're not actually speaking directly to each other right now. This is pre-recorded, and he's going to answer my questions on a separate recording, and then we're going to tie these recordings together as if we were having a real conversation. So I will leave a link for his channel down in the description, and you can go check him out. I am a part of one of his audio dramas called Desperate Times, Desperate Measures. I have a reoccurring role. It's been going on for about 4, 5, maybe 6 videos now. And it's a really good story. He has a lot of different stories to choose from. So there's like, fantasy, romance, there's a action adventure, there's a mixed bag of variety. And I'm going to let him speak here for a second. I'm going to ask some questions, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So, Darian, my first question for you is where are you from? Actually, I'm going to ask multiple questions in one, and then you can just answer. So, the first part of this question is where are you from? How did you grow up? And what inspired you to start doing audio role plays? What's your passion behind this? Like, what inspired you?
Hello, my friend. I want to thank you for having me here. It's both an honor and a pleasure to be joining you for this interview. Now, starting with this first set of questions. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Born and raised in the city. So, Spanish is my first language. That's why I have this accent that I can't get rid of. I grew up in here being an only child, and I was very lucky to have two loving parents that always supported me and helped me get my education and have a good childhood in general. Later on, I started a career working on IT as a developer, and, well, 10 years later, I decided to change my life, follow my passion, and, well, here I am, being a voice actor slash content creator. And I tell you, man, I am so happy that I did that. It was very hard to actually manage to do this, to make this transition, but all the sacrifice and countless nights without sleeping, it paid off in the end. And now I'm here. So, what inspired me to start doing audio roleplays? Well, it's a little bit of many things. I've always liked acting and performing the voices of different characters. I used to play D&D with some friends, and when I was younger, I performed those characters, and everyone seemed to enjoy and encourage me to do more of that. So I guess I started liking the idea of playing the part of different characters. I also enjoy writing and creating stories. I've always loved to do that since I was a little boy. So by doing the audio roleplays that I do now, I can both act and share the stories I create with my audience. So I get to do two things that I enjoy at once. I really like this. It's my way of letting out my creative side with everyone else. It's like a dream come true to me, to be honest.
And so, for my next question, what is some advice you have for YouTubers or anybody that wants to get into audio role plays and voice acting? And what are some of the challenges you encountered when you first started? And how have you worked through these challenges, if any?
Well, I can tell you what I believe is the most important thing for anyone who wants to be a YouTuber or content creator in general. And that is to never stop doing your thing. You know, When you start making your content and looking at the numbers, there's always going to be someone who's doing better, who gets farther than you in less time. Or maybe you'll see your views dropping a little from time to time. But you don't have to let that discourage you. Don't compare yourself to others. Just focus on yourself and on doing what you love. And the same thing goes with equipment, you know. One would think that you gotta have the best stuff out there so that everything looks and sounds perfect. But the truth is that you don't. Of course, better quality is always nice, but it's not the most important thing for this. So if you're just starting your project, try to have some tools for the job. But don't feel like you won't be able to do your thing just because you don't have the best camera, microphone, or even editing software. Just get started. Don't let that become an obstacle. Do what you can, and then in time you'll be able to upgrade or improve some things. Now, about the challenges I encountered. I could talk about this for quite a long time. But to make it short, in my particular case, my main two challenges would be having time when I first started, and also dealing with external noises and those kinds of things. When I started my channel and began working on my content, I was still working a full-time job in an office. Every day from Monday to Friday, I would wake up early in the morning, spend the whole day working, and then go back home at almost 7 p.m. because I had to travel for about an hour from the office to my house. Then I would grab something to eat and spend the whole night working on my content. You know, writing scripts, recording voices, editing audios, and all of that stuff. So it was almost like having two jobs. And that usually meant going to bed pretty late at night. Like 2 or 3 in the morning, to then get up early again and do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, it was pretty tough. But you know, you have to give it your best and fight for your dreams, right? Sometimes it takes a little sacrifice. But if you have a passion, if you have a dream, then you gotta make yourself some time if you want to do that. And well, the other minor challenge was to reduce the noise and work with the things I had when I first started. Because, well, I live in the city and it's pretty loud in here, and I needed to be as quiet as possible for my work. So yeah, I learned a lot and was able to edit my audios as much as possible. So now I can prevent them from being invaded by external noises and stuff like that. It wasn't easy, but in the end I learned to do that.
And then my third set of questions is I've noticed that you do the main bulk of the voice work for the story. And I was wondering, in Desperate Times, Desperate Measures, without spoiling anything for the audience, why is it that certain characters don't speak? For instance, Madam Candidate's daughter, who is a character in Desperate Times, Desperate Measures, she doesn't have a actual voice actress behind her. It's kind of left up to the listener to interpret, I can't talk today, to interpret what she's saying based on your character's responses to her. So was that a conscious decision, or was that just I couldn't find the voice actor, so I just set it up like that? Or is that something you deliberately have done in the story for a certain type of effect, if that makes sense?
That's a very good question. Actually, that's something that I do on purpose because I want the listener to be one of the characters of the story. In this case, in Desperate Times, Desperate Measures, the person listening to the audio is the one who fills the role of Madam Candidate's daughter. That's pretty much the concept of these audios. Whoever is listening gets to be a part of the story and hear the characters talking to them. I want to create an experience where the listener feels like they're a part of the story, where they are the protagonists, and all the different voices and characters in the audio talk and interact with them. That's what makes these audios roleplay audios, because the listener is not simply spectating from outside, but actually being a part of what's happening.
Last question is, what do you want to do in the future? What are your plans for other series or working with others? What are your plans?
Well, I am going to continue doing more episodes for the ongoing series, introduce new ones after those are finished, and try some new things. See if creating new characters and stories in a slightly different format will also be something the audience will enjoy. So there are some experiments that I'm going to try out. I still have much to organize, but I think it will go well. Apart from that, I am going to continue moving forward, always trying my best to improve as much as possible, and keep on providing my listeners with content they will enjoy. I love doing this, so I am always very excited to make more audios and continue with my journey. And those are all my answers. Thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, that was Dareon Audio, and I will leave his information down there in the description. Like I said, he's a really great guy, does some really amazing work, and I can't wait to work with him again. So if you have some time, if you don't want to listen to music or podcasts, I would definitely recommend checking him out on his channel. Really nice guy, really talented. And yeah, that wraps up this week's episode of Wonder Wednesdays. I've been Speezy Wonder, the blind songwriter, rapper, producer, and much more. And I will catch you guys next week. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'm out of here.